Yes, another day, another pack here in GarageBand. In this one, we're taking a look at the Boys Noize Producer Pack. Hi, my name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, and we've got 10 brand new packs here in GarageBand. We've looked at all of these: Selection, Oak Felder, Take a Day Trip, Track Girl, a heap of them that are in here. And today we're going to be looking at this one, the Boys Noize Pack, to round it out. Now, there's a link down in the description to a playlist that has all the videos of all the packs that I've already checked out. Let's now jump in, because this one seems pretty funky. And what have we got? We have more than 240 Apple loops. We've got 4 drum and beat sequencer kits. We've got over 10 keyboard patches, and we've got 1 live loops grid. So we're going to work in reverse order today. We're going to grab the live loops grid, then the keyboards, then the drums, and then the loops last. Yeah, we usually do it the other way around. We just want to do it for something a bit different. Firstly, to download the pack, all you need to do is go into your sound library. So from your GarageBand in a new track, just go to sound library, scroll down to the bottom, tap on one of these, and instead of downloaded, you'll see the get button. You hit the get button, it downloads the pack. You have these sounds ready to use. And by the way, if you're a Mac user, you can actually transfer these packs over to your Mac. They're not available on Mac, but we've tested pretty much all of them now, and they all now seem to be compatible with Mac. So what you need to do is just put one of these loops or samples into a project in iOS, open it in GarageBand Mac, and then it will bring that sound library. It will download the entire sound library onto your Mac. It's pretty darn cool. There's a video where I show you how to do that I'll link down in the description. All right, we're going to hit done on this one. We'll go back and just make sure that we're creating a new track, because this was our previous demo, so we need to create a brand new track. We'll save out of that one, and we'll come back here to our ideas folder. We'll hit the create song button, and what do we say? Live loops is what we're going to use. So up the top here, we're going to tap the live loops grid. We're going to scroll across, and we should be able to find the Boys Noize live loops grid. There it is. So there we go, and we turn on the monitoring. So what we've got here, that was weird. It took us back to our microphone. Okay, we'll go back to the live loops grid. By the way, you can just swap between the two modes by using this button here if you're new to live loops. So we'll do that. What I'm going to do is, firstly, when using live loops, the first thing I recommend doing is actually changing things up. So changing your tempo and changing your key signature. Why? Because everyone else is going to be using this tempo and this key signature. So I'm going to do something a bit different. I don't normally go with faster, but I'm just going to randomly go to 140 BPM today to really launch this. And instead of being in C, we're going to bring it up to D, just so that it's different. Again, because if someone else is using this same pack and they haven't changed anything, theirs is going to be at 120 in C major. Ours is going to be at 140 in D major. Is this going to be a giant, massive mistake and a colossal disaster? Maybe. We'll find out together. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick some loops. Now, ordinarily, you'd kind of go left to right here, because you've got sort of your minimalist stuff here, and then you've got sort of more full-on stuff. But I'm going to start around about here. So we're just going to use the default ones here to start building out this track here today. So we're going to hit the record button and hit this button. That's cool. Let it sit on that for 8 bars, and then we're going to change it up to something else. This one. And then change it to this one. All right. That's going to do us, because that's given us 16 bars, right? So this is something to play around with here. So we'll hit the track view button here now, and I'm back in my familiar track mode. So you can see how quickly you can build out like a whole bunch of sounds here. Now you'll notice here that this pack uses a whole bunch of MIDI sounds and MIDI loops, which is pretty cool. You can see what it's actually doing. If you scroll in here, this one is our Doom Tune bass that we've got there. Doom Tune bass. We've got the analog alarm lead, and we've got a bunch of other things here, the deep hollow bass. So you can see it's already using a lot of the keyboard patches, and of course we've got an 808 bass here as well. And if you want to check out any of these sounds individually, come in here and solo them, and we can hear what... That's a nice noisy 808, yeah? We'll turn it up. I like it. It's going to work well. Now, the one thing that I did think here is I thought that when we got to this bar 9, that this section here really should have been... where is it? So it goes through 2 bars there... 1, 2, 3, 4. So this section here, I reckon we can swap these around. I think we should probably do that. Now, it gets a little bit tricky in here without song sections. So we're going to add in song sections first. You get some additional bonus tips in this video here today. Why is it only 17 bars. So we want it to be 16 bars. So we'll start by changing this back to 16 bars, just so that it finishes off where we need it to. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in some sections here, and we're going to change this one to 4 bars. like so. And we're going to change this one to 4 bars as well, like so. And come back and add an 8 bar, like this. And we're going to reshuffle these, so we're going to have 8, 4, and 4. Now this just makes life easier for shifting things around into. If we tap there and we go all sections, what we're going to do is we're going to move these bits and pieces into their various sections. So what did I say? I wanted the first section, which is going to be this section. Oh, did that work? This section D. 844. Yep, that's going to be cool. So this first section here, what we can do is if we come down to the bottom here, we should be able to split this out. I'm going to have to split some of these that are not actually split. We'll go bump, split it, bump, split it. It's a little bit of extra work, but it'll help us out in the end. We'll split these in just so that they're going to move nicely into their new zones that they need to go to. This one here as well, boom, and split it. So that's our first section. And if we come down to the bottom here, we can tap outside, not select all. We can tap outside and drag a box. Whoop, we missed one. Got to split that one. Tap, tap, split. And we can come down here, drag a box, and we can move these. So we're going to put these in our first section. So see what we've done here? We've made this section D is now that first section. Now we're going to do our split thing again because we want this second one to actually come first, if that makes sense. And again, yeah, the splitting does get a little bit tedious here, but it's gonna make it easier for us when we go to start editing things in here. I didn't realize quite how many tracks that there would be here that we'd have to split. There we go. That's all cool, and that one we will split as well. So what we can do is now that we've split all those up, we can grab the next section, which we actually want this sort of more minimalist section to be. So we'll tap and hold, drag our box like that. And there we go, and move this over to our next section. And I thought this would just be fun to do and to show because not a lot of folks realize that you've got this level of control here in GarageBand. They just sort of start recording and do it very linear. This one here moves over and goes into our last section. All that's left to do is delete off our blank section, edit, delete, and there you go. We've changed the order of this little ditty that we've put together here. All sections, and we're back. So now we transition from this one into this one. And then yeah, and you can start building it out doing that sort of stuff. So song sections in GarageBand, super duper handy. That's your live loops. We can play around with them to our heart's content. I show those on other videos as well. Let's now add some more different instruments. So if we wanted to build up on this, we can hit the plus button here and we can go to our keys. So let's go to our keyboard sounds and hit the more sounds button here. Now to get to these ones, we're here in our recently downloaded, and you want to go to the Boys Noize, and here's all the ones we have. So we've got some arpeggiated sounds, we've got some lead sounds, some percussion sounds, and some synth bass. Now you've already heard most of these because they've already been in a lot of those loops, but we're going to add in some anyway. So let's add a different bass. I don't think we saw most of these actually. They're almost all in there already. The organ distortion bass sounds fun. So let's see what this is going to do. And we're in D. So this could be kind of fun. So we can play around with this one. I reckon we're going to do something like that. Now you've got controls over here. You can change things like the flanger. Oh, that's cool. Maybe this just becomes a pad. Yeah, let's pad it up with this one. So hit the record button and we'll just hold down on this D. All right, that's looking good. Now, I was trying to remember, yeah, it does record in your knob movements. You might have noticed there that while I was playing just a pad, I was actually moving the flanger back and forth. And I wanted to see if this makes a bit of an interesting effect. So let's solo this and find out if this is going to work in here. So we'll come into this second half where I started playing around with it and play it. Yeah, that's it. There you go. So don't forget that all of your knobs that you have here in GarageBand are recordable, meaning that when you're playing something, you can fiddle with your knobs and it's going to actually remember. It's going to remember your knob fiddling goodness. So if you wanted to do that, you can. And you'll notice there that it's now, it's changed it up. So when you get this little dot next to your sound, it's because we've changed that flanger. We've moved it around a little bit. If you want to save that as a custom instrument, you can come in here and hit the save button and give it a name. We'll just call it Organic Bass PJ. That's what I normally do. Hit return there, and there you go. It puts it into your custom instrument sets with all the other one, like my Day Spa wub that I created in a previous video. So that's pretty darn cool. So let's add in another sound here. We're going to hit the plus button, and we're going to go to more sounds on the keyboard. We're already, oh no, we're in a custom now, aren't we? So we need to actually go back. So we scroll to the top, recently downloaded. Once again, we go to the Boys Noize, and let's play with one of these lead instruments, shall we? What about the Horizon Noise lead? That's pretty cool, right? And again, because this is an Alchemy synth, we can now change this. So and we actually had someone mention Doctor Who before. So let's just see if we can put in a bit of a Doctor Who homage, because we're going to do like a... Yeah, let's try this. This could be fun. All right, we'll hit the record button here. I missed the start. All right, I'm gonna have to do it from the 4 bar because it starts just before the 1. So we'll give it a 4 count. All right, so I hit the notes there, but you'll notice that it didn't really, now I'm going to get a copyright claim on this. We couldn't really hear it that well. So we'll just delete out this little part here. We can change that because we can change the velocity that we hit these with. So because I used my finger and I didn't hit them hard enough, we can come in here to our edit mode. Sorry, let's just take this. I get told that I move too fast in these tutorials sometimes. We're here in our track. We've soloed this one. We're going to tap on this. We're going to tap again. We're going to hit edit. And we can come in here and edit both the notes we played, but also the velocity. So there's our note. We actually want it to hit a little harder. And this one, we also want to be harder. So tap it, velocity, and it keeps going off. Tap, velocity. There you go. So, and because I actually moved it, it doesn't show the movements I did in there, but we can change the velocity every time we've hit it. That one looks okay. So let's just see. Does this have a bit of a Doctor Who kind of vibe to it in this little section? Kind of. So let's bring it back in with our mix here, shall we? And just see if this works in. In fact, we need to turn everything down a little bit because this is already getting a bit too intense, this whole track. So we'll just give everything a few dBs down because it's already a bit full on. So let's just see if this little Doctor Who homage works in here. Kind of gets buried in the mix a little bit, doesn't it? So maybe we'll play around with one more sound here and see if we can complement this a little bit. So we'll hit this one here. Now we've got these arpeggiated sounds. So why don't we try the calculating machine arpeggio and see? Holy dooly. That's cool, but intense. We'll turn it down. Sorry, anyone that's there, like if you've got a cat on your desk and you're watching, the cat's going to have gone flying. Right, okay. Let's come back over here. So we'll go and we'll try this one again. Right, so that's just holding down one note because it's setting the arpeggiator here for you and it's using an arpeggiated sound. What if we hold 2 notes here? We'll do a D minor 5th. That's pretty darn cool. So we'll do this G minor 5th. So we're just holding down the D and the G. So yeah, D minor. We'll hit the record button here and hold these. All right, so what I did there is just towards the end there, I grabbed the top D as well. So it kind of did, I'll show you what it did there. And this is why the arpeggiated sounds are so cool, because you can get these cool sounds without really a whole lot of effort. So we hit play on this one. And then I added this note. And then it just does that little thing into there. And if you bring this back into the mix, this is the most intense mix I've done of anything. That's pretty cool. And I can hear that ARP again somewhere up here. So it's using those same sounds. It's a little bit too intense. So let's just remove a few of these. Maybe we've got a few too many basses. So let's take this bass out. Let's take out this clip line noise and maybe even the 808 noise. So let's just go. That's a bit better. Just creating some space. That's better. So we've just removed some of those sounds because this was getting very intense here already. Let's add some more beats. Now that we've removed some stuff, let's add some stuff. So drums and beat sequencer kit. We come over to our drums here, we grab the beat sequencer, and as we know from previous times, we hit the bottom left here, we go recently downloaded, we scroll on down until we hit the Boys Noize pack, and we've got 4 different ones here. We've got the analog drive, big bang, control voltage, and natural structures. I like the sound of control voltage. Right? That's pretty cool. This might actually make a really good break in this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some experimenting here because I reckon we're just going to record this in to this little section here between bars 7 and 8. So if we come back to our beat sequencer here and we hit the record button, turn it on. All right, so maybe we actually do it for 2 bars because it's such a fast song. Maybe we do it for 2 bars. So what I'm going to do, we'll bring this back to here. And this is where you can have some fun with something like this, is that we can, for this section, what I want to do is we want to remove the other percussion sounds that we've got here. So we're going to remove this noise here. We're going to trim, we're going to not trim, we need to split it. Split it out, boom, split it out here, right on the thing, yep, boom. And remove it up to bar. That was the wrong spot, wasn't it? It goes from 6 to 7 or 7. All right, I've put it in the wrong spot because this actually should be down here. That's all right. We'll leave those splits in place. That's fine. We'll just remove this one from here, delete that out, and we'll remove this noise effects here just to create some space coming into this section here. So let's just see what this is going to sound like as a little weird sort of break. So this will just let our lead breathe a little bit over the top here. All right, so I think this is good, but I think we want to get rid of this bass here as well. So we're just going to split that out and remove that one there. So again, we're just creating some room here for this to go in. We'll go back to the start and hear this whole lead part here. So it's just letting it have that space to do that in there. I'm not super happy with this lead part. I'd like to re-record that. And in a future video, I would do that if I was making this a real track and staying with it. But there you go. That's something that we could do here with the beat sequence. So you don't need to add it throughout your whole track. You can just add it there. The other thing we could, of course, do is use manual drums. If we hit plus here, we go back to our drums and we go to more sounds. We go to the Boys Noize pack again. This time, let's look at for natural structures and see what we got here. So we got some kicks. Well, that's a nice reverse kick. Whoop. Some nice tom sounds, cymbals, hats, couple of snares, claps, and that one's cool. I like that reverse kick. I don't think it's going to work in here, but I just want to try and use it. So let's just record and see if we can bring it in. So I just wanted it to do it burp, burp, just coming into those sections. So we'll turn it up just so that we can hear it, and we'll see if we can get these ones timed correctly. Kinda, it's almost on the spot. So just going in there with that burp. And sometimes these kits you can find these weird little sounds that'll just complement your track pretty well. So. Yeah, just something there on the side. So that's pretty cool. We've got some sounds going on there. Now, the one thing we haven't played around with is probably the feature of this pack, which is the Apple loops. And the Apple loops are up here. So we tap on this loop icon, we go X out of here, and we filter by sound packs. We don't use the Tom Misch, that's what we were checking out last time. So that one's chosen there. This time we want to grab our Boys Noize, which should probably be right up here under B. There it is. Go back to our filter by, go back to Apple loops, and here's all the loops here. Now, we probably won't use too many in here, but there's some really cool stuff in here. Like you've got, whoop, I went out of there. Like the classic tambourine break you can have here. Yeah, you got some hi-hat toppers. So you've got a bunch of stuff to create beats in with here. Like a whole beat there that you've got. Now remember that we've done this in a bit of a sped up kind of way. So there's a lot of stuff there. Now, if we wanted to add any of this stuff in here, all we need to do is grab it and bring it on across. So why don't we use, where was that tambourine? Hey, Mr. Tambourine, I've forgotten where it is, so I'm going to show you the search feature. If we come here and we just search tambo, it's going and hit enter. There you go. Here's a couple of tambourines. So we've got our bright tambourine topper. That could actually work kind of cool in the second half. So we're going to grab this, drag it, and place it in a spot where we want it to come in. So I want it to come in for this second half, so I'm going to drop it there, and then there it is. It's going to come in here, and when we come back in with this bit here, we're going to get kind of cool. Yep. So yeah, and that's not too bad. So there's a heap more here to explore, a lot more different Apple loops that you can play around with. Just experiment. Just put them in here and see what happens. Now, I've made this pretty intense, but don't forget, you can change the key and the tempo to make it different. So if we wanted to make it a little bit more brooding and angsty, we could go, let's bring it down to A, and let's make this tempo down at like 100. This is the beautiful part of using Apple loops. 98 is fine. Using Apple loops and using instruments, virtual instruments, is now we can get completely change it. You can completely change the feel of something simply by adjusting the tempo and the key over here. Pretty darn cool. There you have it, the Boys Noize kit here, the final of the kits that we've checked out here in GarageBand iOS. There's a link to a playlist with all 10 of them that we've reviewed here on the channel down below.